Good day to everybody. Thank you for being here with us. We have a very special webinar with the title, What Young BPW Members Needs? And this is a question that everybody have in mind. How can we get more young BPW members, and how can we retain? So knowing what they need in the voice of our young BPW representatives, as in this case, Tommy Odunsi Fadina, which is the international young BPW representative in this triennium, that she was unable to attend today for different reasons, but we have Neelima Basnet, who was the young BPW representative in the last triennium, and I feel very proud of her and her performance in that position. So Neelima, the floor is yours as moderator of this panel. Thank you. Thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yasmin and Dr. Annie, for organizing this webinar that brings us together every month. It's always been an honor to be a part of this webinar, and today as a moderator, it is my great honor to be back into this webinar session. So the topic for today, what we have is what young members need. And being a past young BPW member, I think I can relate to that more than anyone right now. But still, we have young, three panelists here today with us. And one of the, young member could not make it due to her last minute of travel, business travel. But we have the first panelist that we have is Selin Ozunaldim. She is from BPW Istanbul and is a 19-year-old activist and the youngest representative of UN Women's Global Gender Equality Movement, he for she in Turkey, as well as National Gender Youth Activist for UN Women. She works with UN Girls Education Initiative as a guiding group member for the Transfer Education Campaign and is the founder of the first Girl Up Club in Turkey, which was funded by UN Foundation. Selin is a co-founder of both #Girls with First and Girl Who Code program in Turkey. She has interned for Girl Rising, for which she is currently a member of the Young Leaders Task Force. Welcome, Selin. And so the next speaker we have is Otoha Hayasi, is an on-site office manager for an American share office company in Japan, a member of both BPW Japan and BPW UK. She was also Asia Pacific Young BPW Regional Representative 2014 to 2017, and Japan Young BPW Representative for 2015 to 2019, and on BPW Japan Executive Committee since 2015, where she has been serving, consecutively as a young chair of organization committee, and chair of international affair committee. So welcome, Otoha. And the last panelist that we have for today is Luciana Yamamoto. She is from St. Martin and is an executive marketing office manager in the public relations department of a French holding company. She holds a master's degree in management and commercial strategy. Luciana has been a member of BPW St. Martin for 5 years and is the past young BPW representative of her country. So welcome to all the speakers and to all the participants. So first, what we will be having is a question answer round with the panelists, and then the floor will be open to everyone. So the first question that I would like to ask to all the panelists, starting from Selin, Otoha, and Luciana, is when, why, and what made you join BPW in the first place? So Selin, can you explain, please?
Yes, of course. First of all, thank you so much for having me. It is my absolute pleasure. Actually, I wanted to answer this question first because Neelima, I have met with BPW and joined BPW through you. I believe it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I attended to a UN meeting or some kind of a event panel, and Neelima was a speaker there, I remember. And I was just so impressed by her. And I reached out to her. I, had some spy skills back then, and I found her email address and I emailed to her. And she was so kind to invite me to join BPW. And after doing my research and talking with Neelima as well, I realized that as Neelima mentioned, I'm the founder of Girl Up in Turkey, and Girl Up is about empowering young girls, adults and girls, to find their inner power and developing their leadership skills. And I thought BPW was kind of mirroring that, but for business, women in business, which was so inspiring and eye-opening to me. So I knew I had to join.
Thank you, Selin. Otoha, you're next, please.
Okay. Hi, so thank you very much for inviting me as one of your panelists today. So my name is Otoha, and then so I joined BPW formally in 2014 after actually participating at the CSW 58 in New York as one of the BPW Japan's interns for CSW. And after that, first I was thinking, I would just stay around and then see what this organization is about. But one of the Japanese members who accompanied us to CSW 58 was Masako Hiramatsu. She just passed away last year, November, sadly. She's one of our past federation president. And she just inspired me, and I just could not believe that there was this very powerful woman in her 80s who's fighting for women's rights in Japan, where a lot of things are still not very easy for women, especially in the business and professional scenes. So I just decided I want to join the organization to get to know this lady a lot more, and also meet somebody similar to her in other countries. So that's how I joined. And then that's how I've been having a great time making friends, and then learning a lot of things every day.
Thank you, Otoha. Luciana, please.
Good morning, all. I'm sorry, first of all, for my voice. Thank you all for inviting me. I joined BPW in a special time of St. Martin time. It was right after Hurricane Irma. I don't know if you all know about it. That destroyed completely the island. I was working with our past VPPR, Madam Danielle Shans, that was telling me about BPW, and I wasn't aware about this organization. I didn't know about BPW until then. I was very surprised and surprised about everything that all those women was doing for all other women and girls to help each other. So there is no way for me to not be part of it when she invited me.
Okay, thank you, Luciana. It seems like every one of you joined in a different circumstance, one during a webinar, another during a UN event, and another during a disaster, right? So I think that is how, women from different parts of the world are brought together, and that's how we expand our sisterhood. Thank you so much for sharing about that. And the next question for the panelist is, as you have already been a part of BPW for more than 2-3 years. So far, what are some of the best part of BPW you feel was beneficial to your business, profession, or leadership life? Selin, please.
Yeah, sure. So I would say first and foremost, one of the most important key parts of my activism and my work as well is being intergenerational, right? Just focusing on diversity, inclusivity, and making sure that my work is intergenerational, because as a young activist, I know how hard time young activists are having because of their age. but also how hard time older activists are having because of their age as well. It's kind of like a parallel, but in a different way. So just realizing that. And at BPW, I'm a member of the Young BPW, but BPW International gave us the opportunity to have meetings and join events and have conversations with the older members who have so much experience, lived experience, who have so like incredible information that we can learn. And we have, as young members, we have ideas, innovative ideas, and our youth vibe feeling that we can share with the older members. So with BPW, I truly learned how we can meet on a mutual ground for our shared goal and how to be intergenerational. And also, since BPW is focusing more on business, women in business, and more professional business life, I would say, I've learned how to have more of a business perspective, if that makes sense. For instance, how to have a formal language. I know this may seem minor, but as a multilingual adolescent activist, I didn't know how important it is to learn, formal, how to learn how to speak in a more formal language during meetings. It truly makes a difference. Or how to be politically correct, for instance. These little details may seem like they are minor details, but they're truly not. And at least for me, I have realized that they're not throughout my activism and with BPW's support. I have truly had the chance to gain these skills and have these experiences, lived experiences. And I just wanted to thank to all the members as well for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you, Selin. As far as I remember, we never got a chance to meet in person. Everything that we had was through webinar, and thanks to Dr. Ann Hilty for all the webinars she organized during the lockdown, because I remember it was intergenerational dialogue, or BPW Goes Digital webinar, where
Yes.
you were invited as a speaker. So I think this webinar does help a lot of young members to reach out and to learn from different generation. And I think that is the only way forward, because as we all know that though we don't know how long we're going to meet in person, everyone. So the learning through this webinar is a way forward for young BPW member. So the next I would like to ask Otoha, please.
Okay, yeah. So for me, it was more giving me the encouragement, and then also the raising my self-esteem, which was actually quite low from due to stuff going on that was in my personal life back when I first joined BPW. And then other stuff I actually wanted to say, Selin actually managed to say all of it before me. Thank you. So the as I completely understand what you meant when you was talking about the importance of the business perspectives in our lives when we are trying to talk to people. Because I did not have much business perspective when I was speaking about anything. It was more kind of how I felt, so emotional things, and then how it just looked to me. So it was all just like, the feelings that was more important to me. But then I did realize how important it was to be able to use or even know the terms, like business terms, with anything. And then so yeah, that was a very eye-opening for me to join BPW and actually see how important it is in my own eyes. And then also how exactly how we actually have the same ground level as everybody. It doesn't matter how old you are or which part of the world you're from. You're on the same ground with everybody, because we're all working towards the same goal. And then that gives you a lot of energy boost, definitely, because we get energies from people who are 50 years, 60 years older than us, and they are a lot more active and energetic than us. And then also we get a lot of encouragement from them saying, you know, you think you can do something, but then you can do this. So I was thinking, if I'm thinking there's a job that I would like to try, but then I don't think I was good enough, then the first thing I get is all these encouragement, and then people half yelling at me saying like, why are you giving up, and you have to try this. And you know, that was something I definitely needed personally for me to have my career and then business going forward. So that's definitely been something great. And I get that from literally everybody from everywhere in the world. So that is the benefit, definitely a benefit I am feeling in BPW.
What I can say about you is you are very lucky that you are the member of BPW Japan and BPW UK, where you have all the professionals, you know, professional women to guide you. And I think you can make the best out of it. And with this, the last speaker, Luciana, can you give us some,
Yes.
answer to this question, please?
For me, the best and the very important part where BPW came to me, it was to, as a woman today, it's very hard for us to be on the business. Any woman, it's very hard to be in a business, to speak and be heard as we deserve it. And BPW make me feel less alone when I get into it. I can see all those women that, and we can say we can do it too, you know. And for me, that was the best benefit of it that BPW bring to me. It's that we can say it, that we can not do more or stronger than men, but we can do it too, and we are not alone. For me, that's the best benefit that I had from BPW, other the others, of course.
Thank you. I agree with all three of you, because personally, I felt that, you know, there has been a lot of improvement when it comes to business or professional leadership of young members that I have seen in the last 10 years. So obviously BPW has made an impact, and it's wonderful, like, you know, how BPW has touched the life of each young members, maybe not in a drastic way, but maybe in small way somewhere with our life. So thank you so much to all the three of you. And the next question that I have for you all is, we all know that BPW is a democratic organization, right? And it's important that we follow the Constitution. So how much do you think the Constitution is being followed in your country? Or do you have a safe space for young members to talk about its implementation? For example, you know, there are many members who don't know what their constitution, right? So how can you be a part of this democratic organization and still raise your voice without knowing the constitution? So can you give me some idea how you have made a difference after knowing the constitution of our organization? The first, I would like to ask Otoha, because I think she has worked a lot with the constitution in her country. Otoha, please.
Thank you. One of the reasons why in BPW Japan that we have a lot of work around the constitution is because in Japan we actually became the authorized nonprofit organization in 2006 or 7. I completely forgot which year that was, sorry. It is actually we actually have to follow the constitution really strictly, and then make sure that whatever we are doing is fitting within the Japanese law for the authorized nonprofit organization. Otherwise we lose our right as the authorized nonprofit organization. And then and it's so as much as we definitely follow the constitution, and then we discuss a lot about constitution. We actually do this in every executive board meetings, actually, to make sure that we actually have everything up to date and we're not missing any of the old rules that's still there. However, when I if we think about if it's still if there's a safe place for the young members to discuss this is another story, because we don't have much young members in Japan, so we don't have the opportunity for the young members actually get together and discuss the constitution. We haven't got there yet, unfortunately. However, if we actually want to know what's written in the constitution, or if we want to ask any questions about the constitution, we do have the constitution in print out format, given to all members every single year in a yearly handbook, actually. So it's all written out, and you can read it. And then we have quite a few people from the past board members of BPW Japan that you can go and ask about this. And also for me, because I'm fortunately a member of BPW UK as well, and I also did have the blessing of meeting a lot of people in person before COVID. So definitely one of the person I would go to is Sylvia Perry, who I believe is actually in the audience today. So she's one of the past international president for BPW, and well, in my opinion, she knows the constitution completely. She's it's all in her head, I think. So she's the guidebook to go for sure.
Thank you, Otoha. The next I would like to ask is Luciana, please.
Well, in France, I can say that we need to follow the constitution, because it's very important, and no organization cannot not be on that point. But also on the other half, we are a free country. France is a very, very free country of everything. Not like we can do everything, of course. Unfortunately, like Otoha, we don't have any more young members like we used to in the BPW St. Martin. We don't have any more. I'm not even a young anymore. I'm on the limit. We couldn't not talk about it. And I don't think I will ask all the members if it's the same on the other countries, but we never talked about it, because I don't think it's something that we think, about talking. And maybe we should have changed that, and aware our young about it, make them feel part of it. And yeah, I think we should have talked more about it. I'm sorry, Neelima.
That's okay. Next, Selin, can you give your input, please?
Yes, of course. So I would say that our BPW members are, especially regarding Turkey's withdrawal from the Istanbul Convention, we have been very much pushing for that. I'm very proud of every work we have done, especially, obviously I'm very proud of every work we have done, but especially when it comes to Turkey's withdrawal from the Istanbul Convention. From day one, all the members, especially the older members who are, for example, lawyers or who worked for the government in past years, or who have strong networks, they have been extremely vocal about the government's decision from the withdrawal. They have been very local, and that is a very brave thing to do, in my opinion. And we have been very much pushing for it to be signed back, for the convention to be implemented again. We have members who literally slept at the Supreme Court to just make sure that our voices were being heard. Just full of BPW members, and also young women from all across Turkey on the hallways of the Supreme Court, pushing for the convention to be signed back. That is one of the most concrete and most powerful things I have ever seen in my life. Just everyone, from all across the country coming together and demanding for their rights. It's just so powerful, and I'm so proud to see my peer and older BPW like sisters maybe from Turkey just raising their voices and coming together for that shared cause is just so special to me. And I believe Supreme Court is now holding meetings regarding what Turkey will do about Istanbul Convention. So that is hopeful and fingers crossed.
Thank you, Selin. I think in a way that, how the constitutions are being carried out in different parts of the world, it depends upon countries. That's what I've understood. And sometimes some countries are so particular about each and every, details of the, constitutions. But at the same time, there are many countries which are, not following the not following the constitution, but the members are not aware what the constitution is, because when you have the constitution in your hand, then you realize what kind of organization we are in and what we are supposed to do, right? So I would really suggest that no matter which part of the world we are, we need to make sure that when we make a member, we give them a hand of the national and international constitution, so that they understand on what field we need to work on. Like Selin said, how BPW has been advocating in Turkey. So which is an example of what BPW is all about, right? So the next question is somewhat same to this, and I think Selin has almost covered that part in answer. So the next question for the panelist is, BPW is about advocacy. So do you think your club is engaged in advocating for women's issue in local, national, government, or international platform? If yes, then you can give such initiative done by a club and federation. So I think Selin almost covered this up. I would like to ask Otoha if BPW Japan has made any remarkable changes with the policy making in local, national, or international level. Otoha, please.
Yes, so we actually do have a lot of advocacy work. Actually, I think working on the advocacy is one of the main and the most active thing about BPW Japan. So we every year we have at our AGM, what we do is we make a new declaration every single year for the 4 different categories which are covered by Global Gender Gap Index. So that will be health, politics, economy, and then the education. So four categories. And then what we do is during the AGM, we would have a topic, the main theme, and then we would have the panel discussion or something like that happening. And then after that, we always have seminars for each topic. So you would choose the topic that you like. We go to different groups, and then we all come up with some ideas that would want to be put together into a declaration, which will be put together by the executive board about a couple of weeks later. And then we would make a final draft of the declaration. And what we do is when we have the final declaration, each year we all take it to each local clubs will take it to their local politicians or like a local city office. And then what we do is we make sure to take the picture with the mayor, for example. So if we go into the like, let's say like a city office of my part of Tokyo, we would go there. We'll shake the hands with the mayor, and we make sure the mayor actually has a copy of this declaration printed out in his hand. Sorry about the traffic noise outside. And then, so we have an evidence that this mayor actually got it from us, and we also do the same thing in our for all of our lots of other politicians actually, and then we take so many pictures. And then the reason why we do this is that so we can tell them, we can make sure to that the politicians are aware that the NGOs are always watching them. We always make sure that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. And at the same time, we work with a lot of the other similar organizations who are fighting for women's rights. And then we are working very hard on making the quotas for our government, so that we have more we have at least 50% of the government and politicians are female, and then the other 50% will be male. So we're doing the 50-50 work on that one. And then well, in 2000, I think it was 2013, if I'm not mistaken, we did have one of the politicians. He's been a long-standing guy, and he started working on this project with us. And then it's not a finalized law yet, but we do actually have some roles that will be like stepping stone for us to have the quota role for female politicians and female politicians to actually be in the government with the same number of male politicians. So that's definitely something. It's been taking us I don't know how many decades, but we finally getting somewhere, because I think the politics is the weakest link for Japan, actually, out of all the 4 categories we have for GGGI. And then we finally doing it because we have a lot of retired civil servants who are BPW members, and very active BPW members. So I hope that we will continue doing that. And then I think I'm just hoping to be able to get some ideas, and then maybe work with other countries, like how powerful Turkey is. We're not as powerful, but we hope to be as powerful, and then work as much as Turkey in the future.
Thank you, Otoha. What I can understand is BPW Japan, being a civil society, is doing their job to make sure that the government are, making a difference with whatever, the recommendations are that have been given by civil society. So with this also, I would like to ask, as you are a BPW UK member, can you give some input, or do you want to wait till the next part where, we have the president and past international president from UK who can give some input? Do you want to do it now or pass it on to them?
I think I would like to defer to the professionals on that one. Yeah.
So with this, and the next is Luciana. Can you give your input as well, please?
Neelima, I'm sorry we passed this question.
Okay, anything, that has been done by a club or federation, or any advocacy initiative that you have been part of that you think made a change in, national or international policies. So do you have any idea, anything that happened from your club, actually? Club or federation, please?
Yes, lately, we are not doing much, unfortunately, since we are changed, since actually COVID. We are not, lately, we are not doing much for the club or for the members. We are all engaged in different other associations, and we are trying like that to make and keep BPW alive. But here in St. Martin, lately we are not doing much, maybe because we are too much busy, I don't know, but I cannot, I'll pass on this one, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you so much. I think it's all about learning, whether you are just started or you have been like, 100-year-old club. I think we all learn from each other, and that's how we expand our knowledge, right? So hopefully we hope to hear new news about, some of the, advocacy work done by your club in near future. I think there have been many, but, it's not, you are not aware about it. So that's absolutely understood. And as Selin has already told, what you have been doing with, Istanbul Convention, I think that is one of the, that was a topic that was raised in such a way that the entire world was, supporting it. And hopefully it will come back into action, and hopefully it will change the lives of young girls and women all around the world. So thank you so much to all these panelists for these questions. So the next question that I have for you is that, according to your experience, because some of you have been BPW member for many years, some have recently joined, So what do you think can be done in order to attract new members and also to make sure that they don't leave BPW? Because I have seen many members, they come and it's so hard to, keep them in BPW for some reason. And some people, they just want to be BPW even they, if they don't feel like they belong here. So what do you think can be done for the future?
I think we should promote more. There is not enough communication, at least here, I think in St. Martin. We should promote more. Young members are not aware, young in general are not aware of really on what we are doing. When I said BPW, they're like, oh my God, bunch of old woman, angry woman, fighting for, oh yeah, we need rights. We should promote more what is BPW and how we can help them as a young members to. I think this is all about promotion, and I don't think there is enough, at least here or in the Caribbean islands in general. I don't see much out there in the internet. I think this is our biggest weakness as BPW members to help the young to feel that they can, oh yeah, I can jump in and maybe there is something for me that I can do there.
I think you should not say just it's in St. Martin. I have seen their clubs, they don't even have one young BPW member. So it's not a new thing, but hopefully I hope we'll be able to attract more young members. And the same question goes to Selin. Selin, your turn, please.
I mean, I 100% agree with Luciana. And also, I don't think the power of social media, again, I always express my thoughts regarding that, but it's so true. We shouldn't underestimate the power of promoting stuff on social media, because as young people, as a Gen Z myself, we spend most of our time, scrolling through Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, and we want to be engaged in stuff through social media as well, because it attracts us. Social media is very engaging in a sense as well. Social media gives you, and internet gives you the opportunity to express your thoughts and ideas and reach out to maybe millions of people all across the world from different regions. So I think as BPW, we should definitely promote the things we're doing, our achievements. For instance, we're just not, talking to talk rather than walk to walk. We are walking the walk. So why not promote our achievements, the things we have done and we are proud of, and also do it on social media in an engaging way? Because after all, again, young people mostly, for example, we don't read newspaper anymore, right? We do read news, but it's mostly on Twitter. Or did you know that there are TikTok accounts that do like daily news TikToks as reels, etc. And young people scroll through TikTok to learn more about the news. So why don't we implement that, but for BPW, if that makes sense? So that's just one thing. And again, as Luciana said, we should make sure that this is a youth supporting and like safe space for young girls to express their thoughts, ideas, and demands. It is not for just older women who are already in business. But no, you can, as an adolescent girl, you can join. And this is a space where you can learn from older members, their experiences and their ideas regarding business and professional life, if that makes sense. So I feel like we need to make sure that people, young girls who are coming up to us to become a member, know that this is a safe space where we can learn from each other, and they are more than welcome to, you know, speak up about things. Because, for instance, Neelima, you reminded me that I was a speaker during lockdown about on an intergenerational dialogue. And I truly felt, I was so nervous, to be honest. Now thinking back, I was so nervous because there was like dozens of incredible young, incredible like older women who have achieved like so many great stuff. And I could never imagine myself that I could be the speaker and they would be the audience. I felt like it should be kind of the opposite. But so I was very nervous. But the moment the panel started, I truly felt like I was being listened. People were not only listening to me, but they were hearing me as well. There's a thin line there. I felt heard, and they followed up with questions, for instance. They wanted to learn more about what I was thinking. So that is just such a special experience. But we need to show young girls that that is the case, not what they think it is. So yeah, I'm promoting again.
I think I can totally relate to you, because all the information that I get, it's happening around the world, whether it is in UN, whether it is happening in other UN agencies, or nationally, internationally. It has always been through social media for me. And I think that is the way forward. At the same time, as we all know that, you know, the United Nations came up with a strategy called Youth 2030, which is called working with and for young people. That was what was in my mind when I was organizing all the panels, because I wanted a young voice and a voice from a senior at the same level, so that you guys can get the confidence to speak up. And I think this is something we need to do in all clubs, so that young people don't feel uncomfortable, or, you know, they feel like, okay, I don't belong to that place or space. I think that's why we need to make sure that we have more women with voices. And I know what you are doing, Selin, in a, you know, an international platform. I hope you give a lot of chance to younger girl than you to speak up in an early age, so that they don't turn like 40, like 35 like me, to actually speak up. So all the best with the work that you are already doing. And so I would like to ask the next, Otoha, the same question. So if you can give us some idea how to keep young members, you know.
So yeah, so Luciana and Selin literally covered like everything. So if I've been trying to think like what can I add to that? So the one of the things yeah, so to promoting and communication being the key is definitely something I would completely agree. I think you know, if it does look like a black box. I mean, we're not trying to be a black box at all, but then it does look like it's a very you know, like high profile experience, and then like, you know, people who have achieved a lot of things club is what we look like, because you know, I mean, it's Business and Professional Women's Federation. I mean, obviously it looks like it, you need to be very, very you know, successful to be able to even join, but then that's not what we are. And another thing is, one thing I did actually notice is that we do have some existing members who think that you have to be an achieved, experienced career person in order to be able to join. So they were, I did have somebody asking me, so what kind of jobs have you done? And then when I first joined BPW in Japan, actually, I told them, well, I've been doing few odd jobs, you know, travel consultant. I've been selling soap in Lush, just cutting soaps, and then like, you know, selling face wash. And they were like, and that gives you the right to actually join us. And I was really surprised, and I was quite shocked about that, because that is not what I heard from when I was joining BPW. And so we may actually have to set the understanding of the existing members as a starter. But then also, I think when Neelima, when you mentioned that how do we keep the young members who actually joined us, because obviously people who join us have some kind of some passion to whatever they were trying to do, and then obviously they thought what they are passionate about is something we are working on really, really hard. And I do know a young BPW member who has actually left us sadly, we are working very hard on equal rights, but then she was more leaning towards LGBTQ. About and then is the idea that she got impression she got from our international website. However, when she joined her small she said it was a very small local club in I think it was in Germany, I can't remember, it was in Europe. Her local club wasn't really into LGBTQ stuff. They were more into equal pay. So obviously the expectation she had was completely different to what the club was actually active about. So we may actually have to, when we are making all these communications on social media, trying to attract more people, we should also make sure that we are setting the right expectation for the incoming members to make sure that we don't have people just joining and leaving. But then at the same time, even if they joined for completely different reason, if they found what we are doing attractive, they will stay. So the communication is definitely key, because maybe your local club is not really active on what the specific topic or the things that you're passionate about, but maybe other clubs in other countries or even different parts of your country is really active about it. And there's so much you can learn about and then actually work on. So communication being the key is something that I would like to take back from today's session for sure, because I think that's we've been working on this really hard. I know we all are, and I think we may need slightly different approach to come to think of it. And then to attract more people and to keep them. And then as Chantal was saying in the chat, I think, yeah, LinkedIn, being active on LinkedIn, something I would completely agree. I'm not very good with LinkedIn being active thing. So that's a session that we could have in the near future.
Thank you so much, Otoha, and everyone. I know I can understand how hard it is to invite people to bring, and how easy it is to invite people to be a part of BPW, and how hard it is to make sure that they keep staying in BPW. And one of the suggestions I can give to you is, if you think there are certain members who don't fit in a club or a country where, you know, what they want from BPW is not exactly what the country or club can give to her, we can always suggest that person to be a member of another country. There have been many young members that came up to me and said they don't see that they are not getting any information or any interaction or any, you know, being a part of their clubs. So what I did was I asked them to be a member of other countries where they could, you know, get more information and learn. So I think that is how we can make sure that the numbers stay there of BPW members. And as we are already running out of time, so there is a last question that I would like to ask to all three of you, just in very short. Can you tell me, like, do you have like a kind of a vision for BPW which you wish you could work on? For example, what I want to see is the maximum youth on BPW board by 2030, right? So that is my vision, and that is why I keep on encouraging the young members around the world. So what is your vision that you have for BPW? Very short, please. Otoha?
So it's Young BPW International Congress, definitely. So that the reason why I say is, yes, we can do it online if we really want to, but then I want us to have enough people to be able to actually hold a not conference, a congress. I want a big, like a learning week. Yes, we can have parties as well if we want, of course. But then I want a like a solid week where we actually get to learn about each other. But then also, you know, some of the stuff that came up in today's topic, actually learning about constitution or advocacy, or what do people do in each country. You know, we do that on regional levels at the moment, but I want that to be on international level. But then at the same time, I want that to happen in person. And then I know there's a lot of us who we don't have enough financial support or something. So maybe that's something that we need to start thinking about is, you know, because if we have an international congress, then we are more focused on what's happening in the actual general assembly in the international congress, rather than young people just meeting and then learning about each other. It's a lot of information to take on in just the short 5-day period. So if we can just focus on what young members might want to learn, but then on international level, I think that would definitely bond us very well, and people will stay, I think.
I totally agree with you. I think the last International Congress was in Korea, like more than 10 years ago. And that is something that I wanted to have during my term as well, but it didn't work out. I hope we have it in future, because I realized that it's impossible for young members to attend all the regional conference. So for them to have a one platform, we need to have one Congress for young. I guess that's how we feel ourselves as a global citizen, right? So thank you so much for pointing this out, Otoha. The next, I would like to ask Luciana, please.
We'll jump on Otoha. I completely agree. And I will have a complete program of BPW, a young BPW with young members, turn to them, ask the question based on what they want, not what BPW expects from them. I totally agree with Otoha. I don't have anything to add. I think we should have that. Online, it's good. It's okay with our time, actually, and more with COVID and all of that happening. But as people, we need to be together. We need to connect. We need to see each other. It's very important to talk face to face and be together, and especially for our youth generation. They need to see and to connect, because they are behind the computers, the phone. It's so easy, but is that easy to be on the face? So I think I completely agree with Otoha.
Thank you so much, Luciana. And next is Selin. I think you can give more input, because you are really young and I know you want to know more through BPW as well. Selin, please.
Thank you. Actually, Otoha and Luciana covered everything I wanted to say, and I was going to say more. I would like to see more young people on the board, but you already covered that, Neelima, as well. So I think everything I wanted to say is basically covered, but I want to just second everything my fellow panelists said, and it's just so important for us to truly connect. For instance, I do know fellow young BPW members who are part of the BPW club I am in, but I don't have much connection with other young BPW members from different countries or from different regions. Even though we could just meet online. Obviously, we all would prefer meeting face to face, but I don't even have, I don't even know their social media handles or their emails or their LinkedIn pages. I don't even know them through internet or online. So it's really important for young BPW members to connect with each other, preferably, obviously, face to face, but if not, just even through Zoom, to also see in a concrete way that there are young BPW members from all across the globe, and there is that platform where we could connect and know that we've got each other's backs, as young members as well. We got you, kind of having that feeling, I would say. Hope this makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much to all the three speakers, panelists. It's been an amazing, understanding what exactly goes in your head is exactly what goes in my head. And I can believe that a lot of, members out here can relate to this, what we are talking right now, because all of you has been a young at certain part of their life. And I know all of the frustration that we have when we are young. We are so, vocal, though we sometimes cross the boundaries, but at the same time, we make a difference as well. So thank you so much for, accepting this invitation. And now I would like to hand over to Dr. Anne Hilty, who will do the second part of the session, where we don't have much time left, but she will cover up with the question answer and any kind of suggestion that you'd like to give to us. So Dr. Anne, back to you.
Thank you, Neelima, and also great thanks to you as well as to our panelists. It's a beautiful, beautiful presentation. Loved all of your ideas. Yes, not the second part really, just the tail end of the program today. The point of today's program is to hear your voices, and that includes you, Neelima, because you've been working very specifically in this area on an international level for several years now. So we wanted to hear actually from all four of you, and it was really a great success. In fact, Yasmin is already in the queue, but you were first on my list anyway, Yasmin. So my co-facilitator in this program we're in. If we only have a few minutes, if you have a really salient comment or question, maybe more comments, we don't have so much time for Q&A at this point. We do try to keep to our time. So if you do, look for the raised hand function under the reactions icon, probably at the bottom of your screen. Not the clapping hands because they disappear, but the raised hand, which will put you in the queue, and I'll call on you. Dr. Yasmin?
Yes, thank you. Thank you to Neelima and our panelists. It's always is very interesting to listen our young BPW members. But also, I would like to encourage all of you to really be engaged with our governance documents. If you don't know the rights that you have, if you don't know the rules, then it's something that a very important part missing on this. In my travels as international president, I was shocked in one country that I encouraged the young BPW members to attend the Leader Summit in New York. And after that, one of the young BPW members said to me, "Oh, I would love to be there, but the rules here in BPW in our country is that only the ones selected by the president can attend this meeting." And I was shocked when you said that we are a democratic organization, and I find out that that is not true in all the countries. So we need to ensure that the local national constitutions are in the same page as the BPW International Constitution, and also to change it if we want it during the Congress, sending resolutions. So this is important, and I want to say about the International Young BPW Congress that the first one, it was in Mexico, in Acapulco, when past international president Sylvia Perry was international president. And we need to review why it was canceled. I think that it was more because the economic situation with the young BPWs that we decide to match the International Congress and let some time for the young BPWs during the International Congress, so they don't need to spend money to travel for the Young BPW International Congress and also for the General Assembly during the 3 years International Congress. So we need to review this and find a way that we can do it. Now we have this opportunity online. So I encourage you to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yasmin. Ivana, did you change your mind or would you like to speak?
Yeah, hello, everybody. You started to speak a lot about those things and you actually posted something into the chat along these lines. I actually think that even if we look around today's session, what is the average age of the ladies here? Yeah, might be 50, might be 45. We have just few panelists who are younger and maybe a few other girls. Not everybody is visible. And I think that we will find this situation in many of the organizations. And then we become our biggest block or biggest constraint in order to make BPV stepping into this millennia, really. So since I have like 30 years experience in the strategic positions on the board levels of huge multinational companies, right? So I always start with a strategy. So for me, the question is whether we, as an organization, have the really the priority in terms of making the business and professional women kind of sustainable going forward. Because looking even in my own country, young girls, young ladies are actually starting up their own communities. So they are not waiting for us to do something for them, right? They do it themselves. And we will become obsolete by ourselves by blocking sometimes young girls, by not understanding what's in it for me if I'm a young lady, what's in it for me? Why the BPW is actually so interesting, why we are different, and what we can give to those girls and starting young professionals. And it's probably something around the knowledge and expertise which is around the table. But how can we actually do something which is usable for those young professional women and young business women so that it's really, really helpful? And I think a lot of countries, they are doing a great job around mentoring. And there is a lot of interest actually in that. So what I wanted to suggest, and probably you guys are working, everybody on their own, on different areas of that, is really to look in our own, like, what are we doing, how we are actually allowing young girls to penetrate actually. And I totally sign off all the, we should be where the young professional ladies are. And this is, unfortunately, this is TikTok, right? If you are not on TikTok, it must be in the stories and so on. Nobody is reading any posts anymore. Facebook outdated. We have to be there, obviously, yeah, for information purposes. But in order to create community, I think we should be actually asking girls like Otoha or Luciana or Selin to help us actually start these things. But I would start really with a strategy. What is our vision? How can we actually sustain ourselves and develop supporting women communities for business and professional women going forward? And maybe it's so obvious that I should not speak about it, but I just wanted to mention it.
Okay, thanks so much, Ivana. I think a lot of people were agreeing with you by the look of the chat. Sylvia, please, and you will be our final speaker today.
Right, that's some brief points, but I want to think about you in BPW first and then young BPW afterwards, because we're all in this together. And the important thing that you keep referring to the older members, and I think it's the older members' privilege to be mentors, because we've all learned from our early days. We've learned through this organisation. And it's important to pass on what we have learned and how we can help people develop quickly. And I put something in the chat to say, I'd like to see not BPW, young BPW being so separate, but actually taking key roles. And that means that people will encourage them to stand for positions and take responsibility, because doing a job is how you learn. And I think you learn and you develop your authority and your knowledge and so everything else. And I just give a little warning about social media. If you're going to use it very kindly. Don't rush into it. Be very careful what you say, because an odd word that's wrong on social media rebounds on you. But you're doing a great job. Had the pleasure of spending some time with Otoha yesterday, and it was lovely. And I hope that you will think about looking for those young people who are interested in the key issues that we have, like domestic violence and abuse and so on. And if you show them that we are doing work on those things, well, then perhaps that will be an encouragement for them to join. Thank you, Anne.
Thanks very much, Sylvia. Okay, one of our panelists has already had to leave because she's attending another meeting right now. So Selin had to leave us already. Luciana, Otoha, great thanks to you and to the now absent Selin. And a great thanks to you, Neelima, for some of the most beautiful moderating I've seen in quite a while. And thanks to everyone who has participated in today's meeting, attended, participated, showing up, very important to us. Dr. Yasmin, as always, my thanks to you as co-facilitator of this program. So thanks again to all of you. Be well, stay well, and see you somewhere soon. Bye for now.